Hello everybody, welcome to episode 155 of Show Fever. Today we'll be going over Chapter 9 of Haunted Peak entitled Proof. Now this chapter starts off with us seeing as Chiho, who is Ebihara's wife, we learn her name this chapter, and him are looking at a house. They're just, speaking about the positives and all that, and the kind of the downsides. They're speaking about how, yeah, the market's kind of close, but the station is a bit of a wog, but there's a daycare around the corner and everything. So they both seem to agree that the house is for them. But as this progresses, ultimately Ebihara learns that his wife was in fact dissatisfied with the house after they got into a bit of an argument, and she mentioned about how she's always been scared of heights. And then Ebihara rethinks like their entire relationship. He's like, for 4 years I've been taking her to like mountain lookouts and rooftop dinners and all of that, and she never said a thing about it. So we learn that Chiho, in fact, does not like open up. She doesn't reveal her thoughts to Ebihara, nor important things like that to Ebihara. And this becomes very important because we see back to the present time where Ebihara in fact confronts Chiho about Honoka, who is their daughter, not being his. And we see ultimately as he introduces this to Chiho. They just speaking, and Chiho tries to pull like the hero card. This chapter genuinely made me mad. I was like, okay, I'll just kind of give a brief explanation of how it goes. So, ultimately we see as Chiho starts to get angered at Ebihara because he went and got tested. She never expected him to go and get tested, and she herself had went and got tested for fertility prior, but she had learned that there was nothing wrong with her, so she knew that there was a problem with Ebihara. However, she never told him that because she didn't want to hurt his ego and cause him to eventually leave her, because she just wanted to do the positive thing that kept their relationship going and just keep them loving each other and satisfied by going and getting thrashed. But she did! And, okay, so we see as she tries to play like the justification card. She's like, yeah, I went and did that because I saw how happy it made you when I had a kid and ultimately when Honoka was born. You did not know that would be the effect. He could have been kind of disappointed, be like, oh, I don't really want this kid now that I have him. And like, bam, you just ruined it right there. So why did you go and get thrashed? But, yeah, so we see this play out. And ultimately they continue talking. And Chiho continues to like fry Ebihara for going and getting tested for his fertility when it was just a natural conclusion to go to, because like, hey, we've been trying for a long time. She got tested, so I mean, there's probably something wrong with me, but I want to get a definitive conclusion. So, went and got it. And hey, there's the definitive conclusion. So like, yo, I know this isn't my kid now. Like, he did the right thing, because I mean, if they couldn't like have a kid, then there's no point in trying anymore. They can give up on those hopes, deal with the impact, and then develop as the relationship goes on. However, they have Hanako, so like maybe there's a chance, and then he goes and tests, and then no, it in fact is not a chance. Hanako is not his kid because he has it's like congenital aspermia or something like that, and he's had it since birth, so he's been sterile since the time he was born, and bam, couldn't have a kid, but he's got a kid even though it's not his. And like, it astounds me how Chiho like manipulates Ebihara to this point. She's like, yeah, you should have never done that. If you wouldn't have ever gone and got tested out of rightful, not suspicion, but concern, then everything would have been sunshine and daisies. But no, it did not continue to be sunshine and daisies, because like we see as the chapter progresses and Chiho was continuing to fry him, he ultimately breaks. Ebihara, he's a really good guy. He's a really good guy. And he just wants to see what is best. He wants to make the partnership what is best, because we do see, as Chiho claims, that she was doing what was best for their relationship by having the child and going through all of the effort of getting thrashed. I know that's not what she was talking about. She was talking about like carrying the child and stuff like that, which is effort. But still, not his child, and there's no point in forcing him to deal with the child just because he presumes it's his. But we see as this kind of plays out, and ultimately, we see as Ebihara is forced to believe in the idea that Chiho is pushing towards him, that he's the villain here. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just curious. He wanted to like see if there was actually a problem so that they could handle it as a relationship, as partners. But no, he's getting villainized because he was curious. But Yeah. So, and like, that's not even the thing. Like, okay, even like she's the big thing she's having problems with is that he tested Hanako's DNA. Buddy, it wasn't even necessary. He just did it to like I don't even know like try and confirm his suspicions, though he knew they were already true because he had the congenital aspermia or whatever it's called. Because he couldn't have a kid, but he still felt like yo, there's a possibility, even though that was just out of like desperation because obviously Hanako was not Hanoka was not his. So like that wasn't like out of volition or because like he didn't just go and get Hanoka tested. He tested himself first, and therefore out of desperation he's like, well, maybe there's a chance. There's not a chance, buddy. It's congenital. But yeah, so ultimately we see as he's forced to believing Shiho's the idea, and we see as he gets on his hands and knees and starts begging. Some of the male characters in Haunted Peak made me so mad because they're straight up dogs. Like, not in the good way, dogs. They're straight up little meeblings who won't stand up. Like, they need to defend themselves when they're in the right. But, yeah, we see that he gets down his hands and he's begging. He's like, I'll go back to acting like she's my kid. I'll close my eyes and ears to everything I saw. And Shiho's like, no, it won't ever be the same. You can't do that. So we see as Ebihara is still on the ground, like, begging and crying. Then he ends up getting up, looking at the table beside him, grabbing a fork and bringing it toward its face. So, I guess we're going to see what happens in that next chapter because it looks like he's about to perform some self-harm. But yeah, that chapter, though infuriating, was great because it was infuriating. Like, Minami has most certainly done a great job with this chapter and this, like, arc we're seeing right now, this flashback for Ebihara, because it is compelling. It'll draw you in, and it'll make you vehemently feel an emotion. Like, right there, I was going to town. It makes you feel it, and it's really good writing. This is a lot better than I was expecting from Haunted Peak, and I hope that it keeps going, because it's genuinely super enjoyable at the moment. And I'm ready to see more of what Minami has to offer here, because it's really good right now, and I would highly recommend getting into it like it is. It's only 9 chapters, so it's very easy to get into. These chapters are super short, so it would not take long. It'd probably take less than an hour, like maybe 45 minutes at most to read all these. So yeah, I recommend getting caught up on it because it is great. But yeah, that's all there really was for chapter 9 of Haunted Peak. Yeah, that's all I really can think of because it wasn't super long, but that was like the main course was the argument. But yeah, like I said, that's all there really was for that, and that's all there really is for episode 155 of a Shelf Review. So thank you very much for watching.